We would like to thank Carifit for sponsoring our first season of the babywearing podcast. Carifit is not just a carrier, but a whole parenting support package. Get the carrier designed to help you and your baby bond and move together your way. Also, get access to the Carifit app, which includes postnatal support and baby wearing, core and pelvic floor, sleep, fitness, and so much more. Check out Carifit and all they offer at www.getcarifit.com. You can also use our code KURIKARI for a discount when you buy.
Hello and welcome to Kuri In and Carry On podcast. I'm Laurna.
And I'm Gemma.
And we are trained carrying consultants.
Here to help you carry your children safely. So good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're listening. And welcome to today's episode. It's a very exciting one for me because
For me.
we are going to be, for you, because we're going to be talking to Laurna about her wonderful World of Wovens wrapping course and talking about wrapping in general. But Laurna has the only wrap course you can do online.
Only UK one, but it is worldwide. Full wrap course. You can do other ones, as I found out recently. You can do other ones, but they're not full, which what I include.
Yes. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a chat with Laurna. And we're going to learn all about her wrap course. Before we do, I just want to take a minute to say thank you to our fabulous sponsors, Carifit, today,
As
who are
always.
again making the podcast possible. So thank you to them. And if you are planning to pick one up, remember you get your show discount with us, and that's in the show notes. It's KURIKARI is the code. So let's get started. Laurna, hello.
Hello, thanks for having me. It's so nice to be here.
It's been so long since I've seen you.
I know.
Genuinely,
Been about a week.
She was working at a event up in Inverness. I went up to see her, and we had a lovely weekend together where we played with carriers and then went for a swim in Loch Ness. So we had a great time.
Yeah, definitely the best way to celebrate to have a weekend. I mean, exactly all weekend.
Yes. So now that we've got over all that, let's talk about your wrap course. Tell us everything. Tell us about it.
It's the best. There we go. Full stop.
Modesty is wonderful. I love it.
Yeah. No, honestly. So if you are watching this as well, you can see I have got a lovely backdrop of just a very, very few handful. I have over, I think when I last counted, almost 50 wraps in my library. So I have quite
Lovely.
a lot of wraps. So for me, wrapping has always been like my favorite thing to do. It's always been my favorite option with both my kids. And I know that a lot of people want to get into wrapping. And I thought, how can I make that easier? Instead of just doing everybody one by one, how can I make this accessible for everyone to easily learn all the basics from wrapping and kind of get into it? So I had this mad idea of creating a course with full content, and yeah, it was one night I basically came up with the idea and I was up all night writing down my kind of blueprint of what I wanted, and then kind of took a while to get it going and make all the content. So yeah, one of those wild nights that you come up with a great idea and like, I cannot sleep until I have done all of this.
One of those ideas, I'm sure, that was great in the moment, and then the amount of work it was afterwards began to feel a bit like, am I mad? What was I doing?
Yeah, but it was very much a hyper focus. I was like, I'm on it. And then it just all kind of came together naturally, which was really good. It's like I didn't have to like work too hard for it to kind of, it's all there. It was just kind of putting it on paper and making the plan for it, and how to make it accessible, because obviously I've been teaching online for years now, so I'm experienced, because teaching in person and teaching online is very different. And how people learn online is very different. So you have to be able to show everything that you want to show as clear as possible, but also online when you're not there in person. So it was but making sure that I made it as clear as possible. So what the course offers is it's all online. Obviously, if you are local, then you can come in for your one-to-one sessions with me, which is awesome, and lots of people do. But the nice thing about the course is that you can sign up, you can get started straight away, and you can take your own time. Because a lot of people think that with many courses online that you have to kind of work through to like a deadline. It's like, right, okay, 1 month you have to do all this work, but not with this. With the course, you work through in your own time. So if you've only got like a wee bit of time in the afternoon once or twice a week, then you do it then. You don't have to kind of be like, oh, I have to get it all done by the end of the month. Once you've got the content is yours, full stop. There's no, it doesn't time out, it doesn't disappear. You don't have to be checked at the end of each thing that you've done. It's like, okay, have I done the work? Big tick.
Yeah.
Which, especially if you are a parent on maternity leave or just maybe got other kids and other things going on, or you're working, then it's nice to be able to just dip in and out when you need to. And as well, it works through as baby grows. So I should have explained a wee bit more about what the course does first. But so when you sign up to the course, you can choose either the 3-month or the 6-month subscription. I'll talk about the other one in a wee minute. So the 3-month is you get the different content packages each month. So you get front carries, you get hip carries, and you get back carries. So you get one collection each month. Then you also get a different wrap each month. So you can choose from my big collection of wraps. You can choose different blends, different brands, different sizes, different colors and patterns and things that you like, and try them all out before you go on to buy them. So every month you get a new collection, every month you choose a new wrap. And you do it that way. For the 6-month collection, you get a different collection every 2 months. So it gives you a bit longer if you do want to kind of work through it in place. But the benefit of the 6-month course is you get a different wrap every month as well. So instead of 3 wraps, you get 6 different wraps to play with, which is a lot of people like to do that as well, especially if you're starting the course when baby's a newborn or really small. Then by the time baby is 6 months and you've got to the back carries, then you're kind of more confident. Well, not more confident, but you're kind of baby's bigger and ready to back carry. Not that you'd have to wait till 6 months. We had to cover that. So yeah, so you get the collection package each month, and then you get a wrap each month, and you also get access to the support group. So it's really good, and I've got a lovely admin in there who always keeps me on my toes. If I've forgotten a message, she will tag me and she'll be like, by the way, something needs a reply. Like, I'm on it. Especially when it's just me. It's nice to have that someone to be like, by the way, just do your job. And you also get one-to-one support with me. So anytime you can message me, maybe not in the middle of the night, but I probably will reply because you know that happens.
If you're up, you're up, you know.
Exactly. If somebody's waiting on a message, I have to reply. So you get that, and you also get their one-to-one support. So you get 2 half-hour sessions, which is nice, and people usually use them in the front carry and then wait until the back carry. So once you've learned and you're confident on the front carrying, hip carrying is pretty easy going, and then people have a troubleshooting session for the back carries as well.
Yeah.
So it spreads it out a wee bit.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's a lot in there. So is it all video based or is there reading involved? Tell me what it looks like.
So when you go onto my website, you'll click the tab under Wonderful Wovens. So there's a lot of stuff in there which you can read through. You can obviously explains what you get each month, each package. There's a couple of graphics and videos explaining your base size, how your base size changes. There's some graphics on wrap lengths, so you can see what wrap lengths there is. There's also, I'm trying to think what's on the page. There's a lot of things, and there's a lot of like stuff that you don't have to read it all, but you can. So it's extra information that's there. But I kind of cover it all in the videos as well. The videos are all me talking, so it's like a consultation, but it's kind of on the screen. And it's all got subtitles as well. So if baby's sleeping, you can watch in silence. If you're sick of, got to like the fourth or fifth video and you're like, oh, I'm sick of her now, I'll just watch on silent, then feel free, because yeah, people wanted talking. I did some polls before I did it. I was like, do you want talking? Do you want not? But it's a lot easier, especially when it's so detailed. It's so much easier
Yeah.
to talk through it. And that's needed to kind of cover all the bases.
Mhm.
Also, I want to note that all of the videos feature all real babies and toddlers. There is no dolls in the videos at all, because I thought it was important for people to see, to learn with real babies, because if there's a video and there's a baby, an older baby, and they're starting to wiggle or lean or doing all these things that babies do, then it's nice to be like, okay, so that's how she deals with that problem. This is how I would do it. Because if I'm using a doll and the doll's just sat there doing nothing,
Yeah.
it's you can't really kind of learn that way. It's not as clear.
No. Dolls are
Dolls are a
extremely
bit boring.
compliant. They, I
But
have never
also
had a
not at
trouble.
the same time.
Yeah, well, there is that. If anybody's listening has never been to a consultation or a sling library and used one of our weighted dolls, so our dolls are expensive, they are heavy, and they have special joints that allow their shoulders and hips to move the way the shoulders and hips move. And the problem with them is that their hands and feet are plastic, as is their face, and it
They're
means that
pokey
occasionally
fingers.
they have, and they're also, again, if you're not watching this, you'll not be able to see, but imagine the ET phone home kind of
No.
point, right? They all have these kind of pointy hands, and the fingers will dig
Why?
into parts of you. It's as you're trying to back wrap, to demo back wrap in a newborn, and this tiny little pokey hand will appear in your ear or something. It's horrible.
Right in your shoulder blade, and you're like,
Yes.
oh, it's the
And
worst.
then sometimes the legs just move in a way that is not natural while you're trying to demo a seat. And so as you try
They
and
don't
make a
have
seat, the
knees
leg just,
either.
they don't have knees. The dolls are great and they really are, but they are no replacement for real humans. So
No
it's great to hear
substitute.
that in your videos that exactly that we're using actual humans. Um,
Yeah.
because plus the dolls, well, again, they're great for, especially for newborns who are still in a very scrunchy position. You'll hear us talk a lot about the difference between sort of J shapes, M shapes. We like alphabets. Like we have a lot of letters in slings.
Just
But
proving we can read.
yeah, basically, we're like, look at us, we're so smart. But one of the things that we get is with newborns, sometimes they stay in that little fetal scrunch for so long that you can't actually get the fabric under the knees, or you can't separate the legs, or you can't pull the legs down because it's uncomfortable for the baby. So using real babies is obviously going to demonstrate that a lot better than a doll who will just let you do what you like, and they will let
Yeah.
you open their legs too wide and stuff. So
Yeah. And it was good
so
fun
think,
getting to borrow all the babies as well. But
yes,
that was
oh,
a
that's,
challenge in itself. Oh, my lights came on.
yes.
Yeah, that was a challenge in itself, borrowing all the babies. Like, obviously, I got permission from the parents, and the
Of
parents were there
course.
as
You
well.
didn't
I
steal
didn't just
babies.
go out the street, like, give me your baby. I'm going to do a video. I'll come back. Uh,
Like, you can trust me.
I borrow babies in a safe, approved way. I
Yes,
always give
with
them back
consent.
with consent and with the parents in the room at the same time. Yeah. But yeah, that was fun because it was very easy with you. And I'll start the videos with the newborn. Well, he was a couple of months, but it was very easy because he was still in that kind of very new baby stage that just kind of sit in your chest and just sleep and just don't do
Love
anything.
that stage.
When
Yeah.
it got to the kind of 5, 6, 7 month old, when they're a bit more aware and they're like, who the hell are you? Then that was definitely more challenging. And I think I went through quite a few models because we maybe got like, we'd blocked the day off for filming and then maybe got 1 or 2 videos done or one and a
Oh.
half. And it's like the child's like, no, don't touch me. And I'm like, no, please. So that was challenging. And when you watch the course, you don't see any of this. You don't see any of the behind the
Yeah.
scenes, the bribery and the like, can you just for a minute, just stay sit? And like some of them were great and would sit and be quite happy, but they'd be chatting the whole time. So when I'm trying to talk and all you can hear is blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah, and I'm like, it doesn't work. It's like, for
You're
goodness
like, I love
sake.
you, baby, but shut up.
Yes, it's like, please be quiet, please, you can chat after. And then the biggest challenge was doing the back carries
Yeah.
because I wanted, because obviously as you work through the course, you're going to be doing it once child is bigger, and your wee one is bigger. So I did get friends' babies that were the right sort of age. I wanted a kind of 1 year old kind of age just to kind of show size and stuff. Um, and when I started doing that, that's when the most challenge was, because they were like, they knew me as well, which I thought
Hmm.
perfect. They're a wee toddler. They love seeing me. They'll love coming at the studio and playing with the toys and seeing me. But as soon as I started putting them in a wrap on a video, they were like, no, like doing this full
Yeah.
backflip and like put me down, screaming and leaning out. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I put them down and they'd be quite happy to sit and play with
Yeah.
me. As soon as I did that, and they were like, no. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to use my own child. He was bigger than what I wanted for the videos,
Hmm.
but all I did was I had the filming set up, all the equipment, lights and everything. And then on the other side of the camera, I had a laptop with Pingu on. And I had a bucket of snacks at the side. And I would turn around and I'd be looking and chatting and talking through, because the issue wasn't putting them up. They would happily go up.
Hmm.
The issue was because I was talking through each step and taking a
Yeah.
lot longer. I wasn't just wrapping them. I'm putting the wrap on, or I'm holding them in one position while I talk through it and look at positioning before I move. So that was the issue,
Hmm.
taking so long to get them up. So yeah, when I was like, have him like just in one wrap on my back, and he would just be like watching Pingu behind the screen and just quite happy. And then I'd turn around and he would turn his head as well to the screen because he's watching Pingu. And then I would just be like, snack, snack. So if you're not if you're not watching, I'm kind of like putting my hand behind my shoulder. It goes off screen, and then like snack and a wee hand comes out, grabs it, and goes back in again. So that worked out absolutely perfect, because he was bigger than what I planned, but he was still in a good sort of size
Yeah.
to be able to. And also, I knew that he would just sit there and just let me do it all, and ended up being the back carry collection, which has got the most videos in it and the most kind
Hmm.
of in-depth videos. It was, yeah, it was a lot easier. I was like, yes, we're
So
done.
I think one of the things that I would ask if I was going to be partaking of such a woven course is because I, like a lot of people, when I started using woven wraps, would use YouTube.
Hmm.
And so obviously there are some fantastic educators on YouTube.
Hmm.
Wrap You in Love obviously is a very popular one.
Yep.
Her children are very compliant though. So
Very.
yes, and I love that. They're so comfortable being wrapped by her, and it's,
Yeah.
you can tell just how often they're carried. It's beautiful to watch.
Hmm.
I'm sure though they do have plenty of outtakes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm absolutely certain. But like a lot of people, I did start watching a lot on YouTube. Um, and for again anybody listening, there are some great educators out there on YouTube. There are
Hmm.
also people with no education on YouTube who are just showing you how they do it.
Yeah.
So I would say my question as a parent looking to invest in your course would
Hmm.
be, why is it better than YouTube?
Ah, and I actually have a post all on this. Why am I better than YouTube? But I am on YouTube. Um, so the difference in my course is it's not just talking you through a carry as I do it, although it kind of is that as well. So what I'm doing is I'm explaining how to adjust the fabric and how to adapt it in ways. So even in the newborn videos, I will talk about carrying a newborn. But if you start the course and you've got an older baby, I cover that as well. So it's not just doing it the one way. I show
Mhm.
multiple ways. So especially with tightening, I will show you different ways to tighten. I will show you different
Mhm.
ways to adjust. You have the full videos. So in the courses, in the front carries, the front collection you get 6 different carries. In the hip collection you get 6 different carries. In the back collection you get 8 different carries. That's not all
Nice.
you get. You also get individual mini masterclass. So if I'm doing a video say I'm starting on the front wrap cross carry. So the front wrap cross carry, we go through the whole video. We talk about the positioning and the tightening and all of that and different ways to tighten it. Then you can also watch the mini masterclasses, which are short videos, but they're focused on certain parts of that video. So for example, making a seat that a lot of people struggle with. There's a short video on just making the seat and how to get that position. There's a video on flipping the fabric because I cover that in the full video, but other people still struggle with it. So I go into a bit more detail in the mini masterclass on how to do flips and different ways to do flips.
So kind of troubleshooting videos, yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of breaks it down a wee bit more than in the full video. And I'm teaching you rather than just showing you. So somebody making a video to show you how they wrap so you can try the same thing is very different than somebody teaching you how to do it, and how you describe things and how the wording that you use as well is very important, and also how what you use show on screen and how you move your body to show those things as well. Because I see a lot of videos, they'll be like, okay, do this and then cross it to your back, but you can't see their back, you can't see what they're doing. So saying to cross something at your back, somebody could do a twist, somebody could just twist it or fold it or do anything, but showing what that means or showing exactly, you have to be really clear on what you're showing to ensure that somebody's going to be able to do it the right way, to use it. So yes, all those as well. So that's why it's very different than just a standard YouTube video. And I have lots of reviews from lots of my subscribers that confirm this, and it's not just me hyping myself up. This is feedback from what I've been told, and it's very clear. If you're watching this just now, you can see I have quite a cluttered backdrop with all the wraps, but I made sure, because that's something for me, I'm very a visual learner, and if I was trying to teach you to wrap right now on this backdrop, which is very colourful and there's lots of prints and stuff, I would be very distracted about looking at the patterns and the colours, and I would forget what you're doing. So it was very important for me to have it on a clear background. I have my cloud background, which is not super cluttered, but it's clear enough that you can see. It was really important to get the lighting right and making sure that everything was clear and broken down as much as possible without kind of going off on a tangent and being fully gobbledygook, which I can sometimes do, but I tried very, very hard not to.
So from what I understand, so we've got our 6, 6 and 8 videos, and you're getting wrap hire included with your package that you choose, either 3 or 6 months worth. And you, from what I understand, they'll get one-to-one support from yourself as well throughout it, don't you?
Yep. So that's all included in each package. So you get, when you sign up at the start, you'll get all the information on how the course works and your first collection and more detail about the wrap hire, how to sign up, how to choose your wrap as well, which is important because a lot of people be like, what do I need? What wrap do I start off with? So if you're not sure on choosing your wrap, I go through that and help you find your size, chat to you about that. Also, if you want to talk about blends and stuff, we can chat about that. But it's mostly sizing that people aren't sure of. That I also have on my, when you go to hire your first wrap or your second or third or whatever, you also have a surprise option. So I did this wasn't at the start of the course, but it came from kind of feedback, and people kept on messaging me asking like, what do I choose? I don't know what I want, or there's too much choice, I can't decide.
Yeah,
So
with 50 wraps, that's a lot of choice.
yeah, there's a lot, and you can't have them all. Well, you could, but
No.
like it'd take a while to get through them all. That's why people like to come in person. They get to stroke everything. Like, oh, I like the feel of that one. So what I did was I made a surprise option. So that means that you choose the size that you want, and you say, give me a surprise hire in a size 5 or a size 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever, and then I will choose a wrap for you. So I'll maybe choose a wrap that I think you'll like based on your wrapping style, your age of your baby, or if I've already chatted to you, colors and blends and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
I will probably choose one that you might not choose, which a lot of people have appreciated because they're like, oh, I wasn't maybe looking at that one, but it wraps amazingly. So I know obviously how all my wraps wrap. Some of them wrap a bit easier than others, depending on baby age and size, and also the person's kind of technique and stuff as well makes a difference. So if somebody had a thicker wrap to start off with and they struggled and they were kind of wanting to give up, then I will send them a different wrap, or I can swap it over to do it that way as well, just to make sure they get a wrap. Because what wrap you use makes a big difference in
Oh,
your
absolutely.
wrapping journey as well. So there's not one wrap that works for everyone, which is why I have so many.
No. Well, I think that's the thing. As sling consultants, we often tell people that woven wraps are the true sort of cradle to grave carrier. Like they will carry you from the moment you're born, and they'll carry adults. Like we get up to all
Yeah.
sorts of nonsense as sling consultants. We put adults in them for fun.
We haven't done
Please do
that
not
yet. Why have we not done that yet?
because
time.
instead
Next visit.
because instead of doing that, you and I went drinking at a festival. That's what happened.
Hey,
So-
you were drinking, I was not.
That's true. You were driving. You were very well behaved. I, however, was a shambles. Anyway, so yeah, looking at woven wraps, I mean, I personally have 20 or 30 myself, just because they're pretty, but also for anybody who's like, oh, well, why would you have so many woven wraps? I think for me, it's because I know I have a very personal preference. I like a thin in hand wrap. But I do have some thicker ones. I've got some quad blends that are really beautiful, but they're thick. And so I think when trying to explain all this to people, it can be really challenging, especially in the context of a sling library session or a consultation where you have a limited amount of time. So I suspect that you're able to go over all of this a lot more in your course, where people can dip in and out and learn about, all the the GSM, which is, for anybody again who doesn't know what GSM is, basically it's how much wrap there is per square inch. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just getting a bit too
basically
nitty gritty.
Yeah, it's how thick your wrap is, essentially.
Yeah.
And you'll hear us talk about how blankety it is, or cushiony, or pillowy, and we like to use words that describe if it's marshmallowy is one of my favourite terms.
Bandagey. I like bandagey wraps.
Yeah. But again, I mean, one of my favourite wraps is a silk one. And it's really thin in hand and it's beautiful. It's really prone to thread shifting, which again is something that I'm sure people will learn through your course what thread shifting is. It's not a good thing for anyone listening. It means that you can get holes, so you have to be careful. But I blooming love that wrap. It's so gorgeous. But again, it's great for a single layer carry in the summer. I like doing double layer carries in it sometimes because the silk glides, but because the silk glides, it also means that sometimes it glides too much. So I think trying to get somebody who's never used a wrap before to understand that, sometimes when you're doing a single layer carry, that you might want something that's just thin and lightweight. And then come the winter, you might want something that's a thick wool carrier that will do you 3 layers. That's a difficult thing to understand as somebody who's starting out.
Yeah.
So again, you've said that you sort of go through and explain this to people, but what would happen if, I hired a wrap from you and it wasn't the one for me? You know what I mean? Like I get it and I immediately can't use it for the month. Are you able to exchange it, or what can you do?
Yeah, so we can either look at ways to make it work for you, because sometimes it is maybe you are doing a single layer carry and it's a thinner wrap. So we will look at doing the different carries with it and see if we can change it that way. We can do troubleshooting to see if it works, because sometimes it is just how you're using a wrap. So it's not always just the wrap is the issue. It's sometimes how you're using it as well. So we will look at your technique, see what's the issue. Is it too grippy? Is it too slidey? Is it not feeling supportive? So we'll cover all that first, because sometimes we can just sort it out that way, and look at different carries. And a lot of the time, I'll get someone who will use a wrap for the first time. They're like, it's just it feels uncomfortable, and we look at right. Let's spread those passes. Let's add more layers, add more support. How's that feel now? And like, oh yeah, that's nice now. There we go. And sometimes it's easy as a lot of the time. It's simple as that. But if you've got a wrap and you just don't like the feel of it when it arrives, or you're just really struggling with it, then send it back and we'll swap it over for something else. That's not an issue. I would rather you change it and get one that you can use or you're happy to use, rather than you be stuck and not be able to learn, because maybe you've not bought your own wrap yet and that's the only wrap you've got. So you're not going to be able to do any learning or any practice because you've got to wait until the next month. So any point that happens, just get in touch, and we will go through it. I also, in the support group, so it's a Facebook group that I've got, so once you subscribe you get entry into that only once you're a subscriber. In the group I will do like a monthly catch up, so I will do a live chat each month where I answer any questions, or I will go over some new wraps that I've got. And because obviously when you go onto the hire system and you look at all the wraps, it's just a picture, so you can't really tell much about a wrap by a picture. You might be like, oh, this one has got boobies on it and it's really cool, and it's one of my favorites. So if you're not watching, see the booby wrap, because it is pretty awesome. So yeah, you might think this one's pretty because it's got the right colors that I like in it, but that doesn't mean it's going to kind of work for you.
Well, we love it. And that's the thing. You don't get into wrapping because you want an easy carry.
No,
It's
we can do
that's
easy ones, so don't
we
scare
can
people
we
off.
can. No. So again, excuse me while I choke to death. I would say even though I'm a sling consultant and I know I'm supposed to, be very into fancy carrying and be like, oh, I can do the pirate carry, which is called a pirate carry because it's like a reverse reinforced ruck, which is 3 R's together. So we call it a pirate carry because we're cool
Yeah,
that way.
but it is a cool carry.
It is a cool carry.
And that's
But I
in
know
my course.
yeah. So the thing is, I know I'm supposed to be into all these carries, but 9 times out of 10, I end up with just a straightforward ruck tied knotless Tibetan style.
But
It's
you do what
just,
works for you.
yeah. And I think people get really overwhelmed by wrapping. I think it's scary. And I also think there's an element of the baby wearing community that looks at it like it's an elite, everybody, if you're not wrapping, you're not baby wearing, which
Yeah.
is obviously nonsense.
Yeah.
You're baby wearing the second you put your baby in a carrier.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you've paid £400 for it or £4 for it, you're baby wearing.
Yeah.
But I do think that wrapping can be overwhelming. And especially when you do go onto YouTube and you see people go, oh, well, watch these videos, and people throw their babies up and they go in easy.
Yes.
They go in super,
Yes.
and then you're at home trying to do it and you can't get the fabric to move and you've got unexpected slack and you don't know how to tighten. So I think having something like your course where you can then go, actually, I know I've paid for not just the videos, which will be to a high consultant standard. We know they're done by somebody who's insured and certified, so we know it's not just somebody who's just enjoys wrapping at home.
Yeah.
But also you've got that element of, right, I'm really stuck. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. And for some people, I mean, it's as we always see, you can always go to your local sling consultant or library and they will be able to help you. But unfortunately, because we are not funded by centralised funding, we're not like your book libraries where they are funded by local government. And that means that you might not have one near you. So having something like this, which is completely digital, which will allow people to still access that level of one-to-one care and support and to be able to troubleshoot for them, I think is a wonderful thing.
And what I've found as well is not all libraries have a lot of wraps. So I think as well, because it's one of those things that's not as, like, it is very popular in the wrapping groups, but on a
Yes.
whole, libraries aren't as popular in every wraps aren't as popular in every library.
No, they're
So
not.
I do get people coming from, they've been referred by, which I want to thank any consultant that has referred someone onto my course, and I really, really appreciate it, and thank you. I always ask people where they've been referred for or where they've seen me. But I do know that there's consultants like yourself that is wrapping isn't always kind of a go-to in the library for you.
Oh, no.
So, and there's also lots of consultants that aren't as confident teaching wrapping. They might be able to do it, but they're not as confident teaching it, which is absolutely fine. We all have our kind of good and bad things that we kind of prefer over teaching. And I've always preferred teaching wraps. But I can teach anything, but it's kind of, I will always bring
Yeah,
out
but
a
you're
wrap.
like, but I don't want to do buckles.
Yeah, like, can we look at a wrap? Let's just bring one out. Always. So yeah, so it's nice to kind of be able to support those people as well. So even though you've got a local library, you might still want that support, but at a consultant
Yeah.
level as well.
Well, so you might have a consultant like me, and like I say, I can absolutely teach all types of wrapping. I can do it. It is just not my favorite thing to teach. I can get quite not overwhelmed, but I can get very worried about teaching wrapping because there's a lot to go through in that hour.
Hmm.
And it can and I personally, and I don't know if other consultants feel this way, but I can feel like we don't get what my client is wanting out of the session because it depends on what stage they come in at,
Yeah.
how long we've been wrapping, if they've but sometimes the expectations I find challenging to manage. And so I think a lot of consultants can feel that way where while we can do it and we enjoy doing it,
Hmm.
sometimes referring to a wrap specialist such as yourself is a better option for the client, especially if we know they're going to need that sort of longer amount of care,
Hmm.
and they're going to need that sort of more in-depth education that your course provides. It does allow us to refer to something like that. And I know I've
Yeah.
certainly referred people to your course in the past
Thank you
because,
very much.
again, what you're very welcome. But again, if they've needed more than just an hour of my time,
Hmm.
and obviously they could pay for multiple hours of my time, but
Yeah.
that is more expensive than paying for your course. So
Hmm.
um, I always like to make sure my clients are getting what's best for them.
Yeah.
And I think every consultant's like that. And again, it's not that you can only teach wraps, but it is
Hmm.
your preference and it is what you've specialised in.
Yeah.
So,
And yeah, I think as well, like having spoken to many consultants and other libraries, I know that a lot of time if somebody does come in for wrapping, they teach them the basics and then off they
mhm,
go. So because you're only teaching the basics every time, you might not be teaching that more. I don't like saying advanced because you don't have to be advanced to do back carries, but more intricate or detailed back carries with
yeah.
different passes and stuff. So because you're not teaching it all the time, you're maybe not as confident to teach it as and when you
Mhm,
need it. So that's why kind of, and I do these because before I did the course, I was getting more and more people coming for wrapping, and that's kind of where it came from.
mhm,
I was like, I'm getting these people coming. They're not just coming in for the basics, they're coming in for the more complicated carries and different things and looking at different ways to kind of use their wraps, different sizes and stuff. So that's kind of, I knew I was already doing that a lot. So it was kind of just a way to kind of get it to more people, and making it affordable as much as possible, but also knowing that I kind of it is a lot of work that went into it. And I was really, really lucky to get some sponsors at the start of the course because I needed to kind of cover not just my time that it took
mhm.
for making all the content and
Yeah.
putting everything together, but all like my new lighting displays and camera and stuff like that. So
Mhm,
it was really helpful. And I also had a lot of brands that sponsored videos, and you'll see in some of the videos it'll say that this is sponsored by, and it just means that the brand has given me the wrap, so it's featured in a
mhm,
video, which is quite nice. So I have a lot of that, and that helped kind of bulk out the library and have more options. Also, when you are part of the course and you have hired and then you are ready to go on and buy, I have some slightly bigger discount codes than a normal library because they know it's through my wrap course and they kind of want to
Nice.
it's a nice wee way of saying thank you. So Fire Spiral, I want to say thank you to them because they were my gold sponsor. And I have had some other sponsors that kind of donated wraps or supported in other ways as well. So it's really, really nice to kind of have that support from the brands as well because they could, and it was nice for them to kind of acknowledge, okay, no, we know you know your thing, so we want to support that because then you're going to help in the long run by pushing our wraps and kind of not pushing them, but like supporting people with wraps. Like I'm not here, I'm like, obviously I'm going to push the wraps on you, but like in a nice way.
Yeah, but I think it's difficult because especially in the UK, I think we've got what Fire Spiral, OSHA, To the Loom and Back, I think are still running. But what other Joy and Joe,
Yumi,
Yumi, yeah. But
oh, you put me on the
there's only
spot
a
now.
handful of wrapping
There's not
companies
many,
that still
yeah,
exist in
UK
the UK.
ones. Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, there
definitely.
are globally a lot of
Yes.
wrap producers, but we used to have, I mean, just in the sort of 10 years I've been doing this, the amount of wrap companies that have disappeared is really
Yeah.
upsetting because
Yeah.
unfortunately they just don't make a lot of money. So that's why, you know, being able to promote wrapping, I mean, we're keeping small local businesses afloat, which is wonderful because again, Fire Spiral was created at a kitchen table by two mums who were looking
Yep.
you know,
And
to
it is
bring
still
wrapping.
small, but it is Fire Spiral wraps are amazing.
Oh,
I've
they're
got
beautiful.
this one is one behind me.
Oh,
And
I've got
I
one of their
have,
star maps up there. It's so pretty to wrap with.
yeah, and they're so floppy as well. And floppy is always a good sign for a wrap. You want a
Yes.
floppy wrap. But
They also
they
make
are
beautiful
beautiful.
blankets.
Yes,
I love
I
their
have. That's
blankets.
my go-to camping blanket is my Fire Spiral. I even had it in hospital with me as well because I was like, I need my comfort blanket. But they
Yeah,
make
they're
lots of
quite
things.
weighty, which is nice. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, they're like floppy but weighty, which is a really nice
Yeah.
combination of wrapping as well. So yeah, another thing in the course, so I talked about the 3 month and the 6 month collections. There is also an affordable option. So if you want to dip your toe in, but they don't want to commit to the full course, then it gives you a wee taster. So the affordable course is obviously more affordable. It's a lower price point, but you don't get the full collection. So instead of like 6, 6, and 8, you get 2, 2, and 2. So you'll get a couple of videos and a couple of mini master classes from each collection. And then if you want to upgrade at any time, you can. So it's nice. And you also get your wraps and your support group and your one-to-ones as well within all of that. So if you wanted to just dip your toe in first and try it out, then you can, which is really nice if people want to get wrapping, or they have their own wrap and they don't want to learn too much, but they want to try it out, which is nice as well.
Yeah. Fabulous. So we do have some questions from
Perfect.
people on the internet.
And the
So
interweb.
on the interweb. So thank you for everybody sending questions. So let's go through
Yes.
some. We have from Rube Scoops, which I love the name.
She's lovely.
Who
Ruby's awesome.
says,
Hi, Ruby.
who says, I can't understand what my base size is meant to be. So how would you talk through finding a base size?
So your base size depends on your body size. So, and I do have a graphic on this on the Wonderful Wobens webpage, and go through it in the course as well. So your base size is basically the length size of wrap that you can do the very basic front wrap cross carry. So you have baby on your front in the center, you have the wrap in one layer that goes across baby, crosses at your back, comes down each shoulder, crosses under baby's bum, and ties at your back in a double knot. So that is your basic first carry that you learn. You want to be able to do that carry, tie a double knot, and have a decent amount of length left in your wrap. So if you can do that, that is your base size. And to figure that out, I do have the graph because it will depend on obviously your body size. If you're more petite, you'll have a shorter base size. And Ruby, by the way, yours is 5. If she's listening. You can use a 6 now because the wee man is a bit bigger though. So and your base size will.
Yeah, this is
See,
turning
I
into a
know.
consult.
Ruby, I'll see you later. Yeah, she's gonna hate me for this. So your base size will also depend on baby size. So if you are more petite and you've got a newborn, then you could maybe get away with a shorter wrap. If you're more petite and you're starting with an older baby or a 1-year-old or toddler or something, then obviously they are going to take up more space in the wrap. So that accounts for more length. So you might want to go up a size. So when we talk about plus and minus sizes, so for example, my base size is a 6. If I wrapped with a base size +1, that is 1 size more than my base, which would be a 7. And I do cover this in the course, so don't worry if this sounds gobbledygook. So your base size will probably change as baby gets older, but then when baby gets older, you're probably not going to be using that front carry as much anymore. You're going to be maybe back carrying. So you can still back carry with your exact same base size wrap in different ways, because it's going to go on you differently as well. And also, just because you've got a base size doesn't mean you can, or if you've got a shorter wrap that's not big enough for you to do that front carry, you can still use it just in lots of different ways. And that's the really nice thing about wraps, is you don't have to get your base size. Obviously it's helpful at the start for that's what you're learning. But if you've got a shorter wrap or a longer wrap, you can still do it and use it in different ways because there's so many ways. And I'm only touching on the amount of ways in the course as well.
Well, that's it. So I think I do know a lot of people have been overwhelmed by wrap charts in the past where because a lot of them will say, if you're a certain size, you need a size 8, 9, 10 wrap, which can be hard to get a hold of.
Yes.
That's not necessarily the case. And how you wrap on your body. So a really good example I've given to clients in the past is my dad and I were going on a roller coaster, and my dad's a big guy, and he tried to get in the seat and it wouldn't go down properly on him because he's got a very firm stomach. Whereas there was a guy who was arguably bigger than him who, because he wasn't as firm as my dad, when they pushed the barrier down, his body moved out the way and there was space for him to fit. So just because you might look a specific size or be a specific clothing size, it doesn't mean that you will necessarily be a size 6, 7, 8 in a wrap. It depends on how it moves on your body. So again, that's why as consultants, we're always like, try them first.
Yeah. And it also depends on where you hold your weight. So you might be plus size with a smaller bust, so then it will sit differently on you. Or you might be kind of, I'm a size 12, 14, but I have a bigger tummy. So how it sits, so I'm sometimes comfortably using a bigger wrap so that it's not as kind of tight across my tummy. But it very much depends on that. So it is always that, and that's why it's really nice to try first. And if you're not sure, try both. Take one of each size if you think, but most of the time it's going to be smaller than you think. So a lot of people will come to me and say, oh, I'm more plus size, so I need a size 7 or 8, and not always.
You need a 6.
Yeah. Most of the time. Most people generally
people are a
can't use a
6.
6 wrap. But if you're maybe sharing with a partner who is taller and broader, then they might like the bigger one, but doesn't mean you can't use it as well. You can both use it. So it's nice to kind of sometimes, and for me, I like longer tails as well because I like a bit of swoosh and a bit of fanciness. So there's no harm in having an extra bit of tail, just means that you've got an extra bit of tail. It doesn't mean anything. And you can see more
Better
of
than
the
being on
wrap
the
as
tippy
well.
tails.
Exactly. You don't want to be on the tippy tails.
That's really hard to tighten. I've done that.
Yeah.
So we've got Laura here asking, are they hard for beginners? I need a way to tandem wear 4-month-old twins.
Okay, so hard will depend on you. Some people think something's hard and some people think, oh, that's so easy. It will depend on you. But the way I explain everything in the courses is broken down very simply and very basically for you to follow through step by step. So it's not overwhelming, and as well, you've got that thing. Not problem. The difference is when you're wrapping twins, it's very different. I don't cover in the course is focusing on carrying one child at a time, and learning to wrap one child. There is one carry in the course that would work for twins, but I wouldn't say join the course to wrap your twins and learn one carry. So if you wanted to wrap with twins, then I would recommend booking a one-to-one with me instead, and we can look at different ways to wrap your twins. It will depend on the twins' age, on you, if you've already got a wrap or not, and lots of things. So wrapping twins is definitely possible, and it's amazing. And we are going to be doing a podcast session on wrapping twins because there's so much to kind of chat about. But yeah, it is possible to wrap twins. Please chat to me about a one-to-one, because that would be more beneficial for you. Unless you wanted to wrap one at a time, then the course is there for you as well.
Yeah. Again, I think that's a thing a lot of people think is if you've got twins, you must always be carrying both of them. When in actual fact, sometimes you just need to carry one. The other one can be in a pram, they might be on the floor, they might be hanging out with somebody else. You know, it doesn't mean you'll love one more than the other if one is in a wrap or a carrier and the other's not. And you can swap
take turns.
Them, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And a lot
just like
of
any
time
other set of siblings.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier sometimes if you carry one twin and you're pushing one twin rather than having a double buggy, because it's going to be a lot easier to get around places as well.
Double buggies can be very,
but yeah,
very
if we go
off
on a tangent about twins, we'll be here all day.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I've got to pick up the kids eventually, you know. Yeah. So then we've got from Salt and Pepper Pot, which I love, and now I've got the song Push It stuck in my head. But now I'm singing Salt and Pepper songs. So
sing to me later.
So now we're talking about blends. What's your favorite blend for summer versus winter?
Oh, that's such a difficult question because it depends. It will depend on what I fancy. Personally, I've never really been too concerned with certain blends. I don't look at a wrap for the blend. I look at the wrap for first what it looks like to me, and then I'll look at the blend. Yeah, and then I will look at like how it feels. So I've had some wraps that sounds like an amazing blend, but I haven't liked the way it feels, or I haven't liked the way it wraps. I've had some wraps that I absolutely love because they're absolutely gorgeous, but the wrapping quality just wasn't there for me. So I've sold them, and I do regret some of them because I'm like, I could have just used it as a blanket because it was so pretty. But I have pictures as memories. But yeah, it's more about the wrapping qualities for me than the blend. Fair enough, if you want one that's got like tencel in it or wool or something like that, then you can kind of get looking at the blends, but it's not such a priority for me. If you kind of wanted to, you can't go wrong with something with cashmere or wool, because that's great for when it's warm and when it's cold, so it kind of covers both bases. Can't go wrong with all cotton. It covers all bases as well, because you can just layer up as you get. And then silky ones are quite nice in the summer, but again, it depends on the wrapping qualities because sometimes it might be a bit too slippy. So more for me, it's quality over blend.
Yeah, I do think that I've got a wrap up there that I can see from where I'm sitting, and it's beautiful wrap, but the quality of wool in it is so poor that I can't wear it. The wrap is itchy to touch. It feels horrible. I've got one by the same company sitting right above it that, like I say, it's got wool in it too, but it's a different type of wool that's been used, and so it is such a beautiful, bouncy, smooshy wrap that I just I love it. Smooshy. It's great for like a 3-layer sort of winter carry. I would say, to add on to what you say, rather than blend, I would always say for me, it's always about thickness of the wrap. Like I say, I like a really thin and hand wrap. But that said, come winter, I like something a bit thicker.
Yeah.
I like something a bit more blankety. And again, to describe wraps, we just start adding A on the end. We're like, it's chocolatey. Which is genuinely how I heard one described. I was like, what does that mean?
I actually have one with a coffee blend in it, and I'm like, the first thing I did was open it up and sniffed it. I was like, oh, does it smell of coffee? That'd be brilliant. Doesn't smell of coffee, unfortunately, unless you're drinking a coffee at the same time. But yeah, obviously the fibers from the coffee plant, but it's a really, really nice blend. And I do have some which are really interesting blends, which is like I've got one with 5 different fibers in it, which is like mad, and it's
Nice.
really, really cool, and it wraps really nice. If that had 5 different fibers and sounded really cool, but wrapped like a cement log, then I would be like,
Yeah.
meh.
Eh,
But it wraps really nice and it's got a really cool blend. So sometimes you can get a nice mix of it's got a really good blend and it wraps really nice. So it's nice to get that kind of mix as well.
yeah. Um, we've got from MO6, which is making me laugh as well. What's the best way to get your baby on your back as a beginner? So we don't have an age range here. So baby could be anything from newborn to, I would say, probably
Yep.
about 6 months.
Yeah, so again, it would depend on the age of baby. So that will depend how we get them on our back. Um, the first back carry that we would learn and what we learn in the course is a ruck because it's basically like when you start wrapping on the front, you learn a front wrap cross carry as your basics.
Hmm.
It teaches you all the basics to learn and then you can kind of move on from that. When you learn to back carry, it's always a ruck. How we get baby there will depend on them, but also you as well. So it would depend on if baby's really wriggly and stuff, then we're not going to look at a way that's going to take a bit longer. We're going to look at a quicker way to get on. If baby is younger, then we want to offer them more support before we put them on the back. So I hate answering questions with it depends all the time, but it
But
does
it does.
depend. It
It
does.
does. Because as well, like you're not going to do a hip scoot. So there's for anybody listening,
Yeah.
there's sort of three main ways that we would do a back carry. You've got your hip scoot, your Superman, and your Santa toss. That's
Yep.
what you if you look on YouTube, that's the terms that will be used.
Yep.
Hip scoot, you would never do with the newborn.
Hmm.
Santa toss, you can do, but it's very, very
Yeah.
tricky. So Santa toss is what we would usually do
Hmm.
with a
But
newborn.
then
And again, there's a
if
lot to learn with that. It's very,
yeah,
it can be dangerous if you don't do it correctly because the risk of the
yes.
child falling out is high. So when we talk about the best way to put your child on your back, what Lorna will teach online will be what is the safest option for you to do without having her there to catch your baby.
Yeah.
And she's not going to be
But
teaching you high risk maneuvers.
yeah, no, no, and I'm not. And I always talk about how if you need to at any point you stop and you put baby down if it feels too risky because I could be teaching you a safe way, but it feels risky to you, which is totally valid. And if you need to stop, you need to stop. And I will always say that to people in my course as well. And I always tell to practice over a bed or a chair, bed or a
Yeah.
couch, and have someone there to spot you as well, just for support when you're learning.
Hmm.
But if you're wrapping a newborn, the first question is why? Do you want to do it just because you can, or is there a need to do it? And if there's a need, then I will work with you to look at a solution and find a way to make it work
Hmm.
for you. But if you don't need to, then it's best not to.
Yeah.
Especially if you are new to wrapping. If you're new to wrapping and you want to learn to back carry a newborn, I'm going to tell you it's probably not possible. We want to focus on the front first unless there's a high need. But most of the time, there's not a need to carry a newborn on your back majority of the time. I have taught newborn people to carry newborns on their wrap
Hmm.
on their back, but it's usually when they are already accomplished wrapper, or
Yeah.
if they've wrapped a previous child. So it's your first baby back wrapping, a newborn is probably not going to happen. We can make it work if we need to, but look at why
Yeah.
first. So
Yeah.
get in touch with me and we will talk about the options and obviously how old baby is and stuff as well.
Hmm.
If you are already front carrying, I will always say to learn to front carry before you back carry because that's teaching you all the basics at the front where you can see, which you know what's going on and you've got both hands there to hold baby at any point. If you learn to wrap straight away and it's on the back, even with an older child, there's more things that can go wrong. So we'd always start wrapping on the front. So you're confident with the way the fabric works and the way baby sits and the way baby moves and the way we tighten and support the wrap. So yeah, why?
Why? It's always an excellent question. Just like we were saying with the twins, why? Doesn't, and absolutely, while we can do something, it doesn't mean that it is necessarily the best option for you. Don't get me wrong, if as a client you're going, why do I want to do it? Because I want to do it. I mean, we can make it work for you. Like, wanting to do it is a valid option. It's just, you don't get a gold star for back wrapping a newborn. It's not like a rite of passage you have to accomplish to be a baby wearer. And again, it's like I was saying, there are certain people who will make you feel like if you're not wrapping, you're not baby wearing. That's not the case. No. And so if you are using, like I say, the cheapest carrier you can find to wear on your front, and that's how you carry your child until you stop carrying, I love that for you. You know. But again, if you want to wrap, this is a great way to start learning. Final question. I don't see the user's name on here, but so we'll finish up with this one. When can you start doing the course?
As soon as you want to. when you want to. So I have people on the course that have seen about it when they're pregnant, and once baby's born, they sign up and get started straight away. I have got some people that have started when baby is older. I've got one lady who started when baby toddler was 18 months. So there's no right or wrong question to that. You start when you want to, when you feel ready. Some people prefer to use something else at the newborn stage, and then once baby's a bit more sturdy and opened up a wee bit, then they'll start. But whenever you're ready and you want to, you can dive right in. The only issue with starting when baby is into toddler age is their patience. So you're learning something new, they have to be compliant. So if you're trying to learn and they're leaning out or wrapping, then and like try to get a banana off the floor when you're trying to watch a video and do passes, then it's not going to be fun or enjoyable for you. You're going to be very frustrated and feel like a failure, which is not the issue at all. It's just that your child is not got the patience because they're older. So that's the only issue with learning or starting to learn when baby's a bit older. But if you've got a child that would just sit happily in your arms and watch a TV or over your shoulder, something like that, then that's absolutely fine. Or just ply them with snacks as well. And we do cover that because when babies do get a bit older, even if you have started earlier, they can become a bit like, I'm not here for this and I want to leave. So we do cover the fussy stage and the kind of wanting to get out, and you're like, well, I want to learn how to do this. So we can do this. So we cover nice ways of bribery and distraction techniques as well.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for all of that.
Thanks for having me.
It's if only you were going to be here next time.
I know.
So, in the show notes, as always, everybody, I will put the information about Laurna's course in there. Please do go in and have a look. You'll also, as always, have the discount code for Carifit in the show notes as well. And we, again, would like to say thank you to Carifit for making the podcast possible. Yes. So just before we finish up, though, it really has been good to talk about your course. I know we've talked about it privately in the past, but it has been lovely for me to hear a lot more about it because I've never done it myself. So it's been really nice to hear about it, and always lovely to see your smiling face.
Oh, thanks. You too. It's been awesome. I'll see you next time.
Right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.